So, as some of you knew that we're here at 5 o'clock, we did a workshop with Mr. Ceballos about stress. It was excellent. I don't record that meeting. I just started recording, and as you know, we have our YouTube channel. It's called Middle School 390 Bronx in YouTube. You could become a member and you get the notifications when I upload these meetings. If let me just go over a few points that I always mention it, but it's they always relatable. Uh, the iPad issues. We were like all the children to have either a city iPad or MS390 iPad. Personal devices have been very challenging to give support to when children are not able to connect to a particular class or particularly a particular um, application. It's very difficult to do it with a private device. And as you know, children take private devices and they download everything from music, games, and other things that are not gonna help them pay attention in the class. So with these devices, we are able to block anything relating to games and all that sort. So when they're logging into their Zoom, it's just uh, the Zoom class. No doubling the screen with Call of Duty on the other side. We are still dealing with some things that are out of our control. We already submitted those issues a long time ago, but every time we have children in the help room with those issues, I always emphasize that Google Classroom and Zoom don't play well together. When you are in Zoom and you transfer to Google Classroom to look at whatever you need to look at, your Zoom class will drop. And a lot of the kids think it's the teachers. They will say, "Oh, my teacher kicked me out." It's not the teacher. It's that those applications share the same features, and it's either or. So either you are in Google Classroom or you are in Zoom. So that's the majority of the issues that we have with those Zoom issues. And also when they kick them out, they get locked off. And the way to log back into the Zoom, they have to use their DOE email address, not the MS390. And that is because DOE pays for the Zoom. So they have to put in their NYC students account. That is something that we always let them know that they have two accounts, one for MS390 and the other one for the MS390 accounts. And when I say the help room, I hope that everybody here knows what is the help room. Is a virtual room that we have from 8:30 in the morning all the way to 2 o'clock every single day. Either myself, Mr. Ortiz, Miss Carr, Miss Poe, we take turns and we're there helping all the students, and that works better than any phone call or anything because we're able to see the child's iPad screen and we're able to guide them. Through the phone, it's very difficult to give one of those codes. There are like 30 different digits.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Mercedes, what
Yeah,
do you?
so thank you, Mr. Liran, and thank you always for having the channel available to inform parent. It is such a highlight to have individuals like yourself and always say Mr. Ceballos and our staff ready and willing to support the needs of our school community. I'm going to keep my remarks brief because I know that we have a long agenda. We're short on time, and I also have a guest that is with us, and I want to introduce you to her and give her a little bit of time so that she can just say hi, and then talk just, briefly, and then we're going to bring her back. But, in terms of like the reopening, we have no date on the horizon as to when we're going to offer in-person instruction in the middle school, elementary school, and the D75 already started offering in-person instruction. We are all 100% remote. We don't know. The positive rate is going up, which is not a good sign. But for us, we continue to deliver quality instruction to our kids. Our kids are performing well. This is not something that we are foreign of. We've been doing this not in a remote capacity, but for the most part, when we had our one-to-one, where kids used to take the iPads home, that is, kids are accustomed of having a device. We want them to have not only our MS390 device, but also the DOE's version of the iPad, because that comes with Wi-Fi. And so it's very important that we stress that, it's great if you have a DOE device. It's even better if you have also a MS390 device, because you don't know, one device might not be working properly, then you take the other device. It's always better, in this situation, to have, more than one. And the other is that we all understand that we're going to be in this format until June, where 90% of our kids or greater are in the remote setting, and so now teachers are making sure that they are working hard with putting assignments and projects together, so kids can have that opportunity to be able to display what they're learning. Hopefully, we're going to be preparing soon for September, because that's where we're going to come back together, and hopefully it would be similar to the format before the COVID. Hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because we need the kids. We miss the kids, and we miss that interaction, and so we want to make sure that we are ready. As you know, Councilman Cabrera was our councilman, or he's still a councilman, but he is now term limits, and we had a great run. Our school benefited from that relationship to the point where he used to provide schools with Reso A allocations, and it made our environment better. We had a one-to-one iPad. We also had a one-to-one laptop. And so that was, and we also have Promethean boards in every classroom. We have a new auditorium. We have what most schools don't. And so it was a testament of the work that Councilman Cabrera did for our school community. Councilman Cabrera now has is term limit. So that means in the city council, you can only serve for 8 years. And so I have a great friend of the community who is actually a candidate for the 14th district, and I wanted to take this time to introduce you to her. It's very important. As a principal, I always find that you have to go out and get the resources, and so for our school community, Perina Sanchez is a resource that can forward the agenda that we have. And so I want to give her a couple of minutes so that she can introduce herself and just talk about why she is the best candidate to support us in the 14th district. So future Councilman Sanchez.
Thank you so much, Principal Mercedes, and thank you all so much for giving me just a little bit of space to introduce myself, and hopefully the beginning or continuation, if we've met before and have interacted before, of a long relationship. Can you hear me well? Okay, great. So thank you. I'll just share a little bit of background. When I was born and raised here in the Northwest Bronx in this community. And when I was born, we lived actually in 1905 Andrews. So right across the street from MS 390, and all of my brothers, we all started off in the school building where your kids are going to school now. And one of my first memories, actually in 1905, is of a fire in the middle of the night. That I woke up with my mom screaming, blinding lights. You're asleep, and then all of a sudden everything changes. And we ran downstairs, and we were looking up at this fire. And later on in life, I discovered that that was a conflict that there was between my mom and the landlords. And they had this conflict because they weren't providing heat, they weren't providing hot water. And my parents and my aunts, a lot of family lived in that building at the time, dared to fight back, right? And that's the foundation that I have, is of when something is wrong, I had strong women who were like, no, we're going to stand up, we're going to fight for justice. And 30 years later, I tell that story knowing that maybe it's not a fire that is happening, but there's still a lot of abuses that are happening to us and to folks in our community. And especially now, right, with the pandemic, how much of a voice have you all had really in the decisions to open schools and close schools and open schools and close schools? I saw someone in the chat put that you had a problem with your device. That's a barrier for our kids right here in the community to access full education, right? And so for me, I'm very proud that I went to public schools and that I went to public programs like Upward Bound. Bronx Community College has helped me to excel. And I went to Harvard undergrad and Princeton grad school. I worked in the Obama White House and in City Hall. Most recently, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was actually there fighting for the Northwest Bronx to get resources. So when Principal Mercedes complained to Councilmember Cabrera that we weren't getting resources, Councilmember Cabrera called me, and I fought with the administration to make sure that we got the PPE that we needed, that we're getting the testing sites and all of that. And so for me, I bring that experience of having been within the system, right, and understanding how it works and how to negotiate bills and how to fight for budgets and all of that, because I did it within the administration. But always, always, always being grounded in, I'm born and raised here. I'm here my whole life. You can't take me out no matter what. I like to hear my bachata and my hip hop when I walk down the street. And, for me, it's all about going into the position with the community support, with the community's hopefully love as we try to come out of this difficult moment and getting there together so that we can fight for more resources. Because I know, and my fundamental belief is that we are resilient and that we're going to get through this together. This is a hard time, but if there's any community that can, it's us. Because no matter how hard things are, we keep food on those tables and clothes on those backs and a roof over those heads, and we'll continue to do that, and we deserve a fighting chance to do it well. Thank you, Principal Mercedes.
Thank you. Okay. And again, couldn't say it better. It's about, how do we connect our school community with the resources that oftentimes other communities get to enjoy, and the Northwest Bronx oftentimes gets left out. So thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for your support. Well, let me answer that question. This is the way I'm going to answer this question. So the vaccine distribution in the first batch of distributions were allocated or are going to be allocated to just like first responders and healthcare providers, and that's to the extent. Now, to follow your question, and this is the way we want to be able to. So the teachers received an accommodation that expired on the December 31st. And so the obviously, right, the intent was to then readdress the issue, and then maybe around January begin, in person. That didn't happen. So what did happen was that the accommodations were they approved the extended the accommodation to June 30th, which is the last possible day of the month. And so now I'm preparing our school community to be able to deliver quality remote instruction making sure that kids are learning, teachers are learning, teachers are delivering instruction, quality instruction, and then sometime around February begin our transition to in-person in September. Now, we don't know how September is going to look. We don't know. There's a lot of unknown yet, but that doesn't give us, we're still gonna plan to deliver in-person instruction to those individual students and parents that feel comfortable sending their kids to school in September. So we hopefully, we're struggling with, as a school system, with the COVID achievement gap, which has widened, as you know, right? We are meticulous about making sure that every single day students are learning. And so one of the platforms that we're utilizing in order to achieve this process is School for One, which School for One digitizes the curriculum and gives the students an opportunity to submit, exit tickets. And then, as you know, as a parent, you'll have the opportunity to see a grade book. And in that grade book, you're able to determine whether or not, my child is making progress. We as a school decided that, looking at the way the grading system is designed, because of COVID, our main concern is going to be our kids learning on a daily basis, and that's what I'm trying to get. Let's forget about the 70 and what does that mean. Let's forget about the 80 and the 90. What does that mean? Doesn't mean much under these circumstances, right? But what means more is our kids reading every day, our kids learning every day, and then what is the evidence of that learning? And so we want to make sure that when we talk about a platform like School for One, that we're able to make sure that you guys understand, what it is that we're trying to do as a teacher. I don't know if Miss Howard, you want to say more or add more to that.
Definitely. Thank you, Mr. Mercedes. When it comes to School for One, the good thing about this application is the fact that it's accessible to students via the iPads and via any computer that they have at home. So if they don't have an iPad at home provided by the school or the DOE, if they have a computer, they're able to access School for One that way. I will like to share actually now. Okay, maybe not. So I wanted to show you guys how School for One is set up, and you again have access to it via your scholars, your students have access via the device that they have, either an iPad or a computer. You're able to see the classes, you're able to see the grade book, and that's the best way for you to track what they have submitted and what they haven't. The great thing about School for One is that it's 100% live. I'm able to contact students as soon as they are joining the class, even though we are virtual, and I'm all the way over here and they're all the way over there. I can see them if they're logging in live, because the application gives me the opportunity to see who's logged on and who's not. Immediately, I'm able to reach out to the students like, hey, I see that you're not in School for One, so please log on and let's get the work done. In addition to that, the gradebook is aligned to the standards that the students need in order for them to be able to meet those standards and be ready for the 7th grade. So we are giving them the opportunity to not only focus on what they have missed from the previous year, but we are also giving them that opportunity to master those standards that they will need moving forward. Everything is aligned with those standards. Every single assignment, every single entrance ticket, exit ticket, everything that we do within this application tells them exactly what is it aligned to, and they know exactly what they need to do by the end of our class, or by the end of our time together during the day. So this is basically what you will see if you are using a computer. It looks 100% different if you are using a an iPad, which is what the students should be using, because when they use the computer, it tends to lag, because everybody's using School for One at the same time. So what I want to show you is the fact that you're able to see, this is basically just for me. I'm the ELA social studies teacher. What I'm going to show you is what we do. We have Leader in Me. So we have a Leader in Me class where I'm able to do a daily booster with my students every single day. For the sake to protect the innocent, I want to show you this this grade book instead of my regular ELA grade book, so that you can see what does this look like. So in order for you to see what your student has been submitting, you will ask him, hey, let me see your School for One and let me see your grade book. So please go into the grade book and you should be able to see something similar to this. These are all my students in my class. And these are all the on the top. You'll see those columns are every single assignment that has been uploaded or has been provided to the students. So every single day they have an assignment to do, and then you will see it this way. So you will see every single box that is empty. That means that the student did not submit anything. If the student submitted something and it has not been graded, it will have a check like this. But if they submitted something, it has been graded, it'll have a grade like this student right here with 4.0, which is, you know, that they're doing pretty good. So if your student by any chance has all blanks, that means that they have not been attending that portion of the class. This happened the very first 10, 15 minutes of class every day. And Wednesdays, we have a whole period for Leader in Me. So if they have not submitted anything, their grade book will be blank. And then you want to ask your student, what's going on? Why do you have 0 grades? But if they have been submitting work consistently, they'll have everything graded just like this, or they'll have a check like this. And like Mr. Mercedes said, I'm able to see every student. So every student, all the members of the class will be here. Again, it looks different on my iPad. I usually just use my iPad all the time. But you're able to see every single student. So when we are in class, I'm able to go into my members tab, and every student that's online while I'm teaching, I'm able to see them. That way I can track who is on task and who's not. The beauty of School for One is the fact that if a student is not online, I'm able to just tap in and say, hey, I see that you're not online, please log on. And if they're not, if they are online, I'm able to see exactly what they're working on as they are doing it. So it's live and it's telling me right away whether they are in the current assignment or doing something else. So as you see it here, all the students, I'm able to look at like their iPad right from my iPad. And that's how I'm able to reach out to them and say, hey, you are working on the wrong assignment, or great job as, you know, you're completing your work. And that gives the students motivation to keep going. What else? And that's pretty much it. Here you will see all the assignments that have been published. Like I said, I have, this was when we launched the daily Leader in Me, which was day 1. Then every single day after that, we have a daily booster assignment where we read a quote and the students have to pretty much tell me what they're thinking of this assignment is. Are you still able to see my screen?
Yes, yes, we see this.
Great. So basically, this was the daily booster for this particular day. So I asked the student, please read this quote and tell me what you're thinking about it is. We discussed the habit that is aligned to, and they will give me a little blur as to like, oh, okay, this is what this means to me. And that's that. And that's how we do that for Leader in Me. I mean, yeah, that's how we do it for Leader in Me. And that's how it works for School for One. So it's live. We have a lot of information there that every single student is able to see their progress. They're able to track how they're doing. They look at their grade book and see, oh, miss, I got a 0 for this assignment. Can I resubmit? And this gives students the opportunity to advocate for themselves. Not only that, but they're able to see the feedback that I provide to them based on the grade. what they need to tweak and what they need to do better for the next assignment.
Great.
Ms. Barrow, thank you
Yes.
so much for your presentation. Can you demonstrate to parents how can they have access to School for One? I know that they do not have an account, but if they were to use their child's iPad, how can they locate the application and how can they basically have access to the gradebook, to the grades?
So basically how it works, if they have, I wish I could show my actual iPad. If the student has an iPad, what they'll need to do is go to the School for One application. That is that purple guy. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see. So this is the icon that you should see on your student's iPad. So it's this guy, like purplish guy with a book in front of him. So that is the application that you should be able, that's the icon that you should see on the student's iPad. So if you find that in your student's iPad, that's what you should be looking for. And that way you should be able to see your student information on the iPad. If you are in a computer, you will go to School for One. School for One, I'm going to put the website on the chat so everybody can have access to it. And I will demonstrate once again how you can get access to the application itself. Well, not the application itself, but how you can have access to the gradebook itself. So I'm going to share my screen again so that I can show you guys.
Ms. Harrell, this is Ms. Carr. Can I ask you a question
Ms.
while
Carr.
you're showing
Sure.
your gradebook? There's a question on the chat if parents are going to be
Mhm.
able to get a report with School for One as they did with Google Classroom.
I can definitely generate reports and send them to parents. What I've been doing is reaching out to parents for my classes, for those who have, for students that are missing a lot of assignments. So that's pretty much on a one-on-one basis, depending on the teacher. If your student is in one of my classes, either 601 or 602, you will be receiving information from me directly, like a progress report. It's usually a printout, like a screenshot of the gradebook of your student, and showing you how many assignments have they missed and what they need to make up to do better moving forward.
So, like in Google Classroom, if parents accept the invitation and they sign up, did they get that weekly report on Sunday? I think that's what the parent meant.
Yeah, we don't. That's the one thing that School for One is currently missing. We don't have a like a progress report, a weekly progress report yet. Hopefully, as the developers are working on that, we should be getting that soon, but we don't have that as of yet. So I have to manually, on a one-on-one basis. That's why I target specific parents who students are not necessarily doing so well, so they can, sign up a little bit.
So it's better for the parents to access the gradebook if they want.
Yes.
If they want to get an up-to-date picture of how the student may have done during the week. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you, Ms. Harrell.
And this is how you will access your student's gradebook in a computer. So you will go directly into the website, schoolforone.com/blended. I will put this in the chat so that you can save it. And what you will do is click on a specific class. In this case, I'm clicking on the Leader in Me class, and you will go into the 3 little dots on the corner. There you will find this information. Remember that you're looking at a teacher's School for One information, so it may look a little different on the student end, but you should be able to find the gradebook anywhere. However, as your student, hey, get to the gradebook. Let me see what's going on. So when you click on gradebook, your student will only see their work. Like they will only see them. Because this is a teacher's view, you are able to see all the students in the class. What you should be looking for are either blanks like this, which means that the student have not submitted anything, or you should be looking for work that's already graded, like the student here. If they submitted and I have not graded, like this student, it will only have a check, meaning that the student have submitted the work and is there. I just need to go in and grade the work and tell them good job, give them some feedback, and then they'll have to either, if it's not great, they'll have to resubmit, but more than likely it's just, you'll have a check or a grade. If it's blank, they did not submit it for that day. So that's what you should be looking for.
Great. So very important to ask for the School for One and direct kids to give me your grade book. Let me see the grade book, and then that gives you the opportunity to see through real time what is missing from the start of the module or the unit. It gives you that ability to do. And so again, it's just like checking the notebook. You wanna make sure that you check that grade book. It's very important. That's why we adopted that feature, because it's very important to see, through time, is my child doing the work, and is the work aligned to the standard. The work in School for One, there's an alignment to standard. So although they're not in person, that they are doing work that is aligned to the standard. And so, we just then figure out, how do we help them, or how do we help those kids that are missing. So if you see a blank, that means that work wasn't submitted. Very simple. It wasn't submitted. All right. So we're going to transition to another exciting app that we use, which is Lightsail. And I can personally attribute a lot of our success with literacy with Lightsail. And so it's something that I strongly advocate. We're trying to do even more. We're trying to get to be more teachers to be more intentional with what they assign. We every single day when we were in person, we had that was our independent reading time, and then kids will go home with their iPads and they will also read at home. And so we surpassed, was it last year, 2 years ago? When we were in person full time, we went over about million plus minutes read. Yeah. And so that's, we want to make sure with everything else that's happening, if a child reads, the research says that if a child reads 20 minutes a day, that child's reading level is going to definitely increase. And so we want to make sure that habit continues, and that, the pandemic doesn't really prevent students from actually doing that. So Mr. Duran, can you
before we move, as Ms. Harold was talking, I was scrambling trying to get images for what she was talking about. So I managed to get some images from my daughter's iPad. This is when you open up the iPad, or when you open up the app, this is the one that you see. Right, so you see my daughter's in 8th grade, and you could see all the classes. I selected then math, and this is what it shows. And if you click here on this little icon that looks like a tab, then you're gonna get to the grade book. So here you're gonna see color coded with dots and other codings, and they're gonna specify if the work was submitted or if the work was not. You won't see a lot of information now because we just started market period 2, but that is a visual and how it looks from the iPad perspective. Any questions? We could move on to the next presentation. Ms. Barona?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Durant. And Mr. Mercedes, just to share with you some information in terms of Lightsail before Stephen, we transition to him and as he explained all the features on Lightsail. So far, our students, as of today, our students have read 300,000 minutes on Lightsail collectively, and they have completed 14,000 books, meaning that they have read those books from the beginning all the way to the end. They have answered the multiple choice questions as well as the short responses. So, you know, we are on good track. We have 80% of the classes have a 90 to 100 student participation. So we still have, you know, some room for improvement. But one thing that I can say is that Lightsail, our students are reading on Lightsail in class, but they are also reading at home, which is after school.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome. So without further ado, Stephen, are we ready to transition to Lightsail?
Hopefully it's working. Yeah. I work at Lightsail. So we are the literacy reading platform that MS390 and many other thousands of schools use. And in this difficult kind of upside down world of COVID, we are, first of all, really amazed at schools generally who are using Lightsail, but even at MS390, who their minutes read are really doing phenomenally well, given the fact that students are remote. And so the kind of idea of presenting today is to talk about how can we help students improve their reading even further, particularly because they're not in class. And so what I wanted to present is our parent portal. Mr. Mercedes, if that's okay with you. Eric, I think you joined now. Do you want to say a few words before I do that?
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
You can hear me. Okay, great. So sorry about that, guys. I had a little technical glitch there with my microphone, and Stephen had the perfect intro. Yeah. So Stephen and I are both, our associates here at Lightsail, and Stephen is the Chief Technology Officer, and he's here to show you one of the latest features in Lightsail, which, as he just mentioned, is Parent Portal. Parent Portal, and we are very excited to show you this part of Lightsail, because what we're finding in this new crazy world of ours is that parents are finding themselves taking on a great deal of responsibility in terms of helping their kids do their lessons as well as learn, because they're home. And so we built this part of the platform out to give parents access to what their kids are reading. And so we're very excited to show you that. Before we do so, I just wanted to share a few quick things with you. I'm going to share my screen for a second. Here we go. How about now?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. So just sort of emphasizing what Ms. Verona was saying, these are your school stats. And just anecdotally, very quickly, I work with schools around the country every day, all day long. And I'm very sincere when I say MS390, and I've been at MS390, is one of the most top performing schools in any sort of population that I've been to. The administration, the teachers, the students are unbelievably engaged and impressive and amazing. And that was when I met with them last year. That was pre-COVID. And what they're showing or demonstrating now is that same excellence in the COVID world. So what you're seeing here is, again, just about almost 300,000 minutes read, 277,000. My data might be a day or two old. Minutes read so far. And so it's almost on track for 1 million minutes in this COVID world for the school year. And it's incredible. 13,000 books have been read. Just to show you your average Lexile growth. And so for some parents, we're based off of a Lexile score or Lexile scale, which is a reading measurement to measure both vocabulary and reading comprehension. So far, your students have gained 114 Lexile points in this short year that it's been so far since school started, which is above average. It's an incredible amount of growth. And then the other point I wanted to raise out was there's an initial assessment when kids log on for the first time. We call it the Power Challenge. Over 90% of your students have taken that assessment. Again, across the board, across the country, at different schools, we're not seeing these sort of numbers. It's something to be extremely proud of and something we want to continue to grow, because again, we all know that logging in reading minutes is the way to literacy and the way to literacy success, and literacy success is general success. So I just really want to quickly applaud all of you on the parents, administration, on just a tremendous job that you're doing. For those folks who are parents that don't know about Lightsail, I urge you to share with your children, or have your children share with you what we're about. There are 6,000 books in the Lightsail library, in addition to books that MS390 has bought for your students. So there's well over 6,000 books that your kids have access to remotely. So it doesn't matter they're in school, it doesn't matter if they're on the bus or at their grandparents' house or at home, they have access to all these books anytime. Throughout the books, as they're reading, there are action clips, there are short videos to further enhance the text. They are able to have the book read aloud to them, or parts of the book read aloud to them. They can look up words. They can instantly chat with their teachers. And if the teacher's not available, the teacher will get that message and chat back to them. They can write in their books via an annotation feature. So there's lots of different things that they can be doing within the book. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Your kids have been using it for a while if they've been at the school. And happy to go into different aspects if Principal Mercedes or Ms. Verona, if you want us to. But I think I wanted to spend the majority of this call having Stephen demonstrate the parent portal that will give the parents access to this platform as well.
Log in here just to show you. I'll explain how parents can log in, how they get their login, but let me just show you first what it looks like once I log in. So I'm logging in now as a parent. I have 2 kids at the school. So you'll see how I can switch between the kids. So right now it's I'm going to switch to Adira. And so what you're seeing over here is just getting the books now. So the top row will tell me the books that my daughter Adira is reading right now, and the bottom row will give me the books that Adira read last. Her books she read in the last month. So I can see the books here in the top row that she's currently has opened. So she's reading. I mean, this is just a test account. Normally they wouldn't have this many books open. They have 2 or 3 books maybe, but I can click on the book to get some more information about the book, what the book is about. I can look at if there are videos about the book. So I'll see the videos about the book, and I can look at related books to this book on the history of Disney World, for example. So let's go back to the dashboard. And so let's quickly take a look at what I can do here. So on the top here, I can see what my child's Lexile is. That Lexile is, as Eric was mentioning, it's a measurement. It's a number that explains the ability for your child to comprehend and decode English. And we can send information about how that number works, but that's where my child is at the moment, at 732. And every 15 days, the system grades the student automatically for their Lexile to either increase, stay the same, or decrease, depending on how well they do in answering these things called closes, which show over here. If you look at the 0, these 2 numbers I'm highlighting here, so it shows in this cycle. So it's every 15 days. So I'm in the cycle from the 16th of December to the 31st. So in order for this number to change, there's 2 things that you need to happen. You need to answer 20 closes. That's 20 questions in that 15-day period, and you need to get 60%, at least 60% right. So these 2 numbers are very important. I can see the goal that my teacher has set, the reading minutes per week. So I've got a weekly minutes of 130 minutes. And right now, you can see the green, so it's 9 minutes. And the system understands days of the week, meaning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so forth. And here are my data points. So if I look at, so this is year to date. If I look at today, for example, I can see that my daughter's read 2 minutes today, 18 pages, and she hasn't finished the book. That's why it's 0. So she hasn't completed a book. I can see she's read 277 words and attempted those closes. 17. She's got 17% for the of the questions she's answered. She's got 17%, and so forth. And so this is for today. If I do it for this year to date, I can see again how many minutes read, books, etc. What I can do that's very interesting is often, kids are overwhelmed by just the number of books we have. 6,000 books is a lot of books. So we allow parents to actually go to the student's library. If you look here on the right-hand side, it says Open Library. So parents can click that, and they will see exactly the library that a student sees, not the library that the teacher sees, because teachers see a much wider range because they're not looking at the Lexile. So if you look here, I've got two students here. I mean, two children. So I want to look. I've got one in 6th grade, one in 5th grade. So I can click the 5th grade, and I'll see I'll see all the books, and I can go and choose a book or recommend a book for my child. So let's go. And we have about 2,000 Spanish books as well. So in Spanish and English, let's take a book on Stephen Curry. And the numbers you see here, that's the Lexile number. That's 6. If you look at the bottom right corner of all the pictures, the thumbnails, that's the Lexile. So let's choose Stephen Curry. I'll read the synopsis about Stephen Curry, and then I will say, share the book with my child. I can also look at related books. So, Stephen Curry is a basketball player, so I will see other sports players. So if I want my daughter also to read about Serena, so I'll click that here. And I could add that to the list as well. So then when my daughter logs into Lightsail, so let's give her Serena. When she logs into Lightsail, she'll have these books waiting for her to read. Okay, so you can see it says there, shared successfully with her. Let's go back quickly to the dashboard and over here. And everything you see here can also be switched into Spanish. So we support English menus and Spanish. And what we're going to be adding by the end of the week is, if you look at the corner here, there's these watch videos. These are very short training videos to help parents understand the numbers in more detail and understand the features. And they're going to be in both English and Spanish videos, so they'll be able to understand what's going on. So how does parents get the login is what I want to show you now. First of all, parents can just go to lightsailed.com. That's our website /parents. And it shows there's 3 steps to be able to get the login here. So step 1, let's just go show you over here. So I'm going to log in over here. While it brings me in, to show you one other useful piece of information is that when looking at see in real time what my child is doing, what book they're reading, if they are reading a book, how long they've been in the book, that's this information about what is my child doing right now. So I can know at work or I'm in another room, I can see whether my child, what I was doing in real time. So very simple. Get your child to log in to Lightsail, and they know how to do that. They're reading fantastically already. And on their dashboard, there's a button called add a parent. Just waiting for it to log in here. And then they just basically, there's one field. You can just see it while I'm waiting over here. I'll just show you. There's one field here when they click the button. If you look on the right here, it says Parent Portal, invite your parent. When they click that button, they get this pop-up that says add your email address, your parent email address, hit submit. And once your child hits submit with the email address, then the parent gets an email with a link to sign up. That's how simple it is. As soon as they click that link, they'll be seeing as I've been showing you here. So if there's any questions, we've already early beta test of this, and we've seen phenomenal results. We're seeing 6 to 12% increase in reading minutes for parents who have signed up to the portal. We're seeing a 6 to 12% increase for those students who are signed up, who parents signed up. So we think this is another way we can help students be more engaged, read more, especially in this COVID times. Anything else, Eric? Back to Mr. Mercedes.
Mercedes, Andrea, any questions on that?
So Stephen, in terms of the invite parent feature, is it on the student account or the teacher account?
It's actually on both. It's on both. The teacher goes into the roster page, and she would need to, or the teacher would need to go to each student, and there's a button there called add to parent portal or something. I forget the exact words, but they go in and they have to click each student and paste in the parent's email address. That's one way to do it. And alternatively, the other way to do it is to do it with a student, with their child logged in. So I can just show you right here. Let me share my screen quickly. Yeah, I think we when we did the beta testing, we found teachers didn't want to go and get the email address from the parents and update each child's roster record, so to speak. So, but either way, for us, it'll work with either way. Either the parents can register themselves, or the teacher can add them. So I'm just showing you in my screen here. It's really easy to do it. So on the right-hand side here, there's a button called Parent Portal. Invite your parent. So your child, the student, clicks this button here and types in so if I type that, here's my email address, and hit submit. That's how simple it is. There's nothing more to it than that. And then the parent will get an email with a link. They'll add their password. They'll have to put a password in, create their own password, and they get to see that board exactly like I was showing you here. That's how simple it is.
I just wanted to mention that what we're seeing is, it's not only the ability for parents to see, but the ability for parents to participate with the students as well. It's an exciting new feature.
I have a question. Can parents also read books?
No. No, they can't.
Okay. That would be great if we were to be able to like have a Lysel specifically for parents, and maybe you guys can work something out, because especially now where oftentimes communications with parent and kids, although they're at home, is non-existent. And I could tell you from my experience, because oftentimes when I go upstairs, I see them for a couple of minutes, but then they're doing their own thing, their own lessons, and they're in their own room. And so before, when I thought that having more contact, because I was home, I see them, yes, more often, but I see them more often in short amount of time, right? Rather than when they come home, you see them for because they're doing their own thing. So it is good sometimes, to have that access to be able to go into a site and see, and because again, at the end of the day, we are accountable, and there's no one that uses that word more than me. We are, and I just tell the teachers, especially around this unprecedented, unpredictable time, the fact that testing might not happen. Testing didn't happen last year. So, the things that we're usually accountable for, are not there. But we are accountable for those kids every single day, right? So what we don't want as adults is for the kid to say, when I needed you the most, you didn't show up for me, right? And so that's painful when a kid comes to you and says that to you, right? You being a professional. So that's why we made a great effort and a great idea, so teachers can have that one-to-one. If we're able to foster more engagement with the parent and child, it will be great. It will be that missing link, because kids are not having the opportunity to socialize the way they're used to. But if we can begin to have bridges where parents and child can share resources, that's something that I would promote if you guys develop something that.
Thank you very much. That is an excellent presentation. No, Ms. Carr, I know that you have been very quiet. Do you want to share something before we end?
I just want to remind parents that we ended our first marking period on December 4th, and the teachers are working diligently now to input grades, and the first marking period report card will be available on the My Student account on December 22nd. All right, so parents should look for that. And they can access it through the DOE website. That's it.
And Ms. Carr, can you just tell the parents the reason why we're not disseminating the report card?
You mean directly to them?
Yes.
Okay. So the report card is being generated through the DOE platform, because we take a holistic approach, which is part of the grading policy for the DOE, and for security reasons also, the report card contains a lot of very confidential student information. The OSIS number, is like the Social Security number. So it is being distributed through the DOE website using the parent credentials that you established either when your child was younger, in their prior school before they came to us, or last year when we first had to disseminate the report cards through the My Student portal. In June, that was the first time we used it school-wide to make sure that parents were able to access the final report card for last year when we first went into COVID.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Carr.
You're very welcome.
FYI to everybody, the last day of school is the 23rd, and we come back on the Monday, January 4th. So that is our Christmas vacation. On the 23rd at 2 o'clock, Ms. Poe is promoting a Christmas movie for all the students, whoever wants to attend. She's going to show a Christmas movie, and share everybody eating popcorn or whatever she has planned. But that is a project that she's doing with some of the students. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you very much. It was a very long meeting. I think we broke the record. Please remember that the next meeting is on January 6th. We start at 5 o'clock with a stress management workshop with Ms. Ceballos, and then at 5:30 we start with a regular parents meeting. Thank you everybody for coming. I hope you have a great night, and if you have to shovel snow like I do, good luck. Okay, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Ms.
Good
Duran.
night, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Harold.
Thank you, Ms. Harold. Thank you, parents. Thank you, Ms. Green.
Ceballos.
Let's see you tomorrow.